Please be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of McCrary versus Goodson.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
Ms. McCrary, you have petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that the defendant is the father of your miracle baby, 18-month-old Arian McCrary. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim Mr. Goodson has done nothing for your daughter, but today that's going to change. Mr. Goodson, you say the plaintiff has brought the wrong man to court and you refuse to do anything for a child who is not biologically yours. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. McCrary, how does it make you feel hearing Mr. Goodson deny paternity?
The way I'm feeling at this moment, Your Honor, I'm furious. I'm just tired. I'm fed up. You know, when you already have kids, this is my first child. You know, of course she's my miracle baby. She's my only child. At, you know, the age that I am, you wouldn't think that you'll be having a baby. I'm like, okay, here she go. And I just take one day at a time. I don't know what else to do.
Has he been involved in her life at all? 17 months.
He has been to a certain extent, okay? I can count on one hand how many times, you know.
One hand in 17 months, you can count?
Yes, Your Honor, and counting, okay?
And when you see her?
That's my miracle baby. You know, I didn't know I could, you know, conceive. You know, when you're in a relationship with a man for so many years, you know, you having unprotected sex, you're trying to get pregnant, things of that nature, it doesn't happen. You think you can't get pregnant, you know? So when my baby, you know, I went to the doctor, they told me what happened. I just was like, it just, you know, she made me happy.
You're saying you guys have been on and off for this long.
Your Honor.
How have you seen him deny her?
He was in the store. He was with his other family, you know. If I see you with your teenage children and you walk past us, how would that make you feel, Your Honor?
And it hurt you that he walked right past the baby?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Goodson, did you walk past Arian in the store and not even acknowledge her at all?
No, Your Honor, that's not true. We actually seen each other at the same time. She was coming and I was going toward the checkout. She was going, I guess she was going to get an item or something. And we never said, I didn't even know that Arian was with her. I didn't even see Arian. I seen her, but I didn't even see Arian.
So you acknowledged her on that day?
Yes,
But you are not acknowledging that you are the father of this beautiful baby. You do not think you are Arian's biological father?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
Why?
Well, every time we got together, it was like her phone used to ring a lot and she come over there. You know, we stayed on two different sides of town. She'll come over there you know, probably a day or two, and I might not hear from her, you know, a couple more days after that, or whenever she's around. You know, her phone is just constantly, you know, it was constantly going off, and she was always secretive about it. So, you know, so I kind of felt like it was somebody else in the picture. And
let me understand this. Your relationship started as what, just a casual fling? What was the nature of this?
Yes, Your Honor. We just was friends hanging out, and I started, you know, I developed a couple of feelings for her. So I was like, and I knew what, you know, what she had.
A couple feelings? Just a couple?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. Well, you know,
So you developed feelings for her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you all ever discuss making this thing a committed relationship?
That's when she disappeared. When I brought this subject up, that's when she disappeared on me. When Starter did try to start a relationship with her, she disappeared on me.
You disappeared, Ms. McCrary, when he talked about making you his girlfriend?
Your Honor, no, I did not, Your Honor. First and foremost, you say I was being basically secretive, phone was ringing, negative. You have a whole nother lifestyle besides me and my daughter, you know.
So wait, at the time you all were being intimate, he still had this other family and this other life?
Oh, okay, yes, Your Honor.
Oh,
okay.
That's important testimony. Yeah. So when you said you were going to reach out to her to let her know you wanted to make things a little more serious, how serious could it get when you already had another person?
You know, we was married but separated.
Okay.
So, and she was just like, nah, that's not what I want right now. And this, so, you know.
But do you blame her for maybe being a little nervous because even though you were separated, you were still technically married? And I always say a man is married until he is divorced.
Okay.
It's just, that's the way it is.
Yes,
so do you understand why she might be a little reluctant to go in and move in and create this life over with you when you were still legally married?
Yes, I understand.
Was that why you were reluctant, or were you reluctant for another reason as well, Ms. McCrary?
No, Your Honor, that's basically, the reason. Why would I want to be with a man and you already got ties with another situation? You got to stop what you're doing, and then you saying you set me down. It never happened that way. When you're talking to someone about committing in a relationship, it's about you guys, not somebody, your ex, not my phone ringing. That's not the point. The point is that we're all adults, okay? Sit and talk to me. I know when I conceive. I know the exact date.
What is the day you conceived?
He picked me up that night from work, July the 10th, okay? If I'm not mistaken, we got American Deli, okay? Okay? Okay, he likes to eat. I like to eat. Not a problem, okay? Extra chicken, extra cheese, sub sandwich.
Yeah,
okay.
Up in there.
So with that being said, when you're grown, you're nasty, you get in tune. I like the things he do to me, vice versa. We enjoy each other. Why not? We're grown. We hadn't had protected sex, so come on. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done that night, how was it? How was it? You tell me. Because it was great. Okay.
I'm afraid to ask. I'm going to leave the question alone. Mr. Goodson didn't answer it, so I'm just going to leave it alone. Bottom line is you all were in a sexual relationship and you remember it down to the extra chicken and extra cheese.
The extra chicken, Your Honor, the extra cheese, the extra lick from the front to the back. Oh. The extra. Yes, Your Honor, I do. I do remember. I do. My dates are right.
She said it was extra.
Yeah.
Supersized?
Supersized.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to know. Cancel that. If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So you were having a sexual relationship and you know the date.
Yes,
You're confident. And so when you found out you were pregnant and you got your window of conception, you knew you were intimate with Mr. Goodson. What happens when you find out you're pregnant?
Well, of course, I told family members, and, they were up for my decision. And I had to just sit, think about it. I gave him a call. You came right away. So when I told him, he was just up for it. I'll be there. I'll rub your stomach. Take you to doctor's appointments. Things like that. And I just felt like, oh, okay, well, maybe he here for me. Maybe he's going to be here for me. Got me thinking that, it's going to be all okay. It was not all okay. I didn't want to be by myself.
And so, Mr. Goodson, you promised Ms. McCrary that you were going to be there for her?
Doctor's appointment.
No, Your Honor.
Did you believe?
I asked her why she telling me. We haven't been talking, hadn't had sex, did nothing for, like I said, about 3 to 4 months. Then all of a sudden, I get a call and say, hey, I'm pregnant. And so I was, my expression was like, why you telling me? When she had told me that, she had been, sleeping with someone else.
Wait, when's that part come in?
I can't remember the exact discussion we was having, but I know it came to the point about us, seeing other people. Then she say, well, I had been sleeping with, she never said the dude's name, but she said she had been sleeping with. I said, well, and this is my exact question. I said, well, if you felt like that was my baby, how you gonna go sleep with another man while you pregnant with another man's baby? Well, I said, women don't do that. Real women don't do that. I said, if you felt like this was my baby, but you gonna go have sex with another man, I said, I can't just sit up and say, that's my baby. I'm not going for that.
So in your testimony a few minutes ago, Ms. McCrary, you said you realized Mr. Goodson fell in the window of conception. When you had to think about it, did you have to think about it because you were intimate with somebody else around the same time?
No, Your Honor, I thought about it because as a woman, you said a real woman shouldn't have sex with other men, but at the end of the day,
not while they pregnant.
Not while they pregnant.
With another man's baby.
Okay, but at the end of the day, when you go back to your dates, a real woman know who she having sex with. When I told him my dates, and I went back and told him specifically when it happened, why, what we was doing. Oh yeah, it could be a possibility. Oh yeah. Okay.
That was a good impression. That sounds about right. So that's what you said. Okay, yeah, it could be a possibility.
Your Honor, I did tell her. I said, I know what we had going on, so I'm not gonna just. outright just do you wrong and say, oh, no, she not mine, this, that, and the other. But you sitting here telling me you having sex with another man while you pregnant, it's supposed to be my baby. I can't just say that she's my.
Now that you found out, you know it's a possibility. Are you present during these doctor's appointments and all the way up to the birth? Were you there when the baby was born?
No, Your Honor, I can't. I went down to the hospital, I think, like the second day after she was born. And, you know, I seen her. You know, she was a beautiful baby. She was a beautiful little girl. And, you know, and I seen her.
She looks just like you.
And I know kids can, you know, they'll come out light and eventually they'll get darker and look like, you know, but I've been through this before.
You've been through a paternity issue before?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And
yes, Your Honor.
Was it determined that you were the father or you were not?
I was not the father.
You were not.
After 4 years.
This is not my fault, Your Honor. That is not my fault.
And like I told her, I'm not blaming that on her, but at the same time, I can't. That crushed me when I found out.
So what you're saying is this is part of the reason why you haven't fully attached yourself is because you've been through this and been hurt before.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you went and you looked at the baby.
Yes, Your Honor. I looked that out. You know, I held her. I said, you know, told her she was beautiful.
Forcefully, Your Honor.
What do you mean?
Because my relative, he didn't say, let me see the baby, let me see that baby, let me see your baby. You know,
she had two other
my
people
relative,
in the room.
it doesn't
Everybody
matter
was
who I
holding
had
her.
in the room, I was already
Everybody else was passing her around.
When I had my daughter, Your Honor, please, Goodson, don't deprive that baby because of what you got going on. That has nothing to do with me, period. And
so what happens when he gets to the hospital?
He gets to the hospital. I'm sitting there with my daughter. Some relative took my daughter, placed her in his hands. You didn't ask to see her, for real. A woman gonna be a woman, a man gonna be a man. If you already know what it takes to be a father in a kid's life, you gonna be there regardless, even if you have doubts. Period, point blank. Okay?
So when he saw the baby, when you were in the hospital, and he saw the baby, did you feel like in that moment he said, okay.
It's a possibility.
It's a possibility, or do you feel like he immediately denied the baby? What kind of energy? How did you read him?
I mean, I had been reading him since I told him I was pregnant, but when he came physically up to the hospital to see Arian, it was just like, okay, wow, she looks like me and you. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow.
That's what he said?
No, I was getting that impression, but the text message, yeah. You know, you was sending me text, wow, she looked like me and you. And I said, wow, wow, wow.
So wait a minute, Mr. Goodson. So when you saw the baby, you did feel like the baby looked like you and Ms. McCrary?
I felt like I seen some features of me in her, but like I told her, I said, from what I done been through already, you know, the things that she told me she did, I told her I couldn't just up and say, yeah, I want to take on this responsibility like that. I have 6 kids already. I don't have no problem with the responsibility.
You have 6 kids already?
Okay.
Yes, I do.
All right, so did you sign the birth certificate for Arian?
No, I did not. I just didn't want to tie myself to that responsibility until I knew that she was mine.
It takes 2, Your Honor. You come with chump change. Don't do that. You know, you help me. If I have something I don't have, I'm gonna tell you what I have. You can't even foot a half bill. And then, come on now, you saying that I bailed out on you. Make it make sense, baby.
You said make it make sense. And that you feel hurt. Because this time, instead of running, you're staying because you got this little girl and you really believe this is her biological father and you don't want to rip that from her.
At all, Your Honor.
This is why we do this, because she does have a right to know.
Yes, she do.
It's not her fault.
I have to ask you, Ms. McCrary, the other gentleman, the gentleman you admittedly had sexual relationship with, you said it wasn't during the window of time that Arian was conceived, but do you know where that gentleman is?
I do.
If, in fact, Mr. Goodson is not her biological father.
I do. I've spoke with him about it, Your Honor. I spoke
You have?
with him. Yeah. He comes and, you know, say certain things like, you know, you ready for, hey, I'm ready when you are. If that's the case, you know, but...
What does he say you're ready for?
To basically get a test for my daughter and him.
Because
you know, he has doubts also. But I know, you know, I feel like in my gut feeling, from eyes to cheeks to forehead to baby pictures that he has from her baby pictures at birth, that he is Arian's biological father.
Let's see if your thoughts about this are true. I have the results. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of McCrary versus Goodson, as it pertains to 17-month-old Arian McCrary. If you need paternity court, call us at 855-883-6223. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Goodson, you are the father.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You are the father.
Okay, well, I want to apologize to you. Now that it's over with, you'll never have another problem out of me.
A woman knows who she has sex with. I don't know about me.
Sometimes
but
they
I know.
don't, Ms.
Well, I'm
McCrary.
one of them. I'm one of them that know. I'm one of them that know.
You have come to the one place
That's them.
where
Correct.
Jerome and I know that sometimes
They
they
don't know.
don't always remember. That's why this is such a blessing,
Most definitely.
is because you all have been very honest here, a little bit more than even I was prepared to receive. But at the same time, this is what meeting a crossroads, coming to a crossroads in life, and making the decision that I'm just gonna make the right turn. And that requires sometimes coming clean about some things and figuring out how we move forward. So we got an innocent baby, we need to handle her with care, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we have counseling and resources for you both. I want you to take advantage of it, and most importantly, take care of that beautiful little girl. I wish you the best of luck. Court is adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.